What's going on, Dodgers Nation? Doug McCain here. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMac_LA. For all latest Dodgers news and rumors, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see us post even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. And as always, I want your takes down below in the comments section. Do you think the Dodgers need to trade for another starting pitcher? And give me your top 3 pitchers you want to see the Dodgers go after. Let me know down below in the comments section. And for all the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. So your favorite part of summer is probably 4th of July or maybe going to the beach, doing all kinds of fun stuff. My favorite part of summer is the MLB trade deadline.
Now let's do this!
And this year it's at the end of the month. It's July 30th. And the Dodgers, they're definitely going to make some moves. Let me start with saying that. The Dodgers will make a trade this trade deadline. I'll say it again for my people in the back. The Dodgers will be making a trade this season. A significant trade in my opinion. It won't be like last year where they flirted with the idea of trading for Lance Lynn. They end up not making that. But I think the reason why the Dodgers will end up making a move this year is, one, it's a full 162-game season, and you don't know how guys are going to fare the whole way through. Guys like Clayton Kershaw, Julio Urias, this increased workload compared to years past. We're talking about uncharted waters when it comes to pre-All-Star break innings for those two guys, and you just want that insurance policy. You want that contingency plan just in case one of these guys goes down. And then also, you have the Trevor Bauer situation. I don't want to talk too much about that, but there is a possibility where he could face a suspension, and it could be a lengthy one. Dave Roberts said today that the expectation is for him to start Sunday, so as of right now, things are good to go with Trevor Bauer. But in the event that he's suspended, you're also going to want another impact starter because of that. And I just think that if you add another starting pitcher, you can increase the quality of that bullpen. Maybe Tony Gonsolin goes to that bullpen like it was originally planned. And then, of course, you had the big injury to Dustin May. Dustin May was emerging as a superstar. We were on the brink of Dustin Mania, and then he goes down. He underwent Tommy John surgery. So if you look at it, the Dodgers could be in a position where 2 of the 5 starters in their original starting rotation could be out for a significant amount of time. We already know Dustin May is out for the year, and we still don't know right now what's going to happen with Trevor Bauer. Now, if you look at the Dodgers starting pitchers this year and their peripherals as a whole, you probably are going to be saying to yourself, why would the Dodgers need to add another starter? Because the Dodgers starters are tops in Major League Baseball in so many different categories. They're first in ERA at 3, they're first in WHIP at 1.02, they're first in opponent's batting average at 207, they have 536 punch-outs as a group, that's first. They're second in innings pitched at 452 2/3 innings. Now, those numbers are for the entire year. If you look at their last 17 games, they have a 3.18 ERA, that's good for second in Major League Baseball, 1.20 WHIP, that's good for 9th. They're 24th in innings pitched at 218 innings pitched, a 221 opponent's batting average. That's good for 3rd, but they could use another arm to really fortify this rotation and give them some protection if they lose another pitcher. But bottom line, when it comes to Dodger baseball, there's 3 things you can never have enough of: runs, micheladas, and starting pitching. And I do think there's a possibility that Andrew Friedman and the Dodgers will be looking to add another starter before that July 30th deadline. And here's our first part in a multi-part series about the Dodgers adding another starter. But the first guy I want to talk about is Sonny Gray. Now, the big question with the Cincinnati Reds was how long were they going to hold on to their trade chips? We know early on the season they had their moments. They were on fire for a second there. But in their last 10 games, they've gone 4-6. They're now 39-40 on the season, 8 games back in the NL Central. Yes, they can still make a play for that wild card game. Yes, they can get hot again and make a run for the division, but they have so much talent, so many pieces that they could flip. I think it might be time for Cincinnati to call that code red and start dealing guys. Now, on the year, Sonny Gray is a 3.42 ERA, a 1,300 WHIP, a 1.35 ERA plus, a 30.1 K percentage, a 9.4 walk percentage. He struck out 11 against the Dodgers in 5 2/3 in late April. I don't know if you remember that game. It was a good game for Sonny Gray. 50 innings pitched this season. Now, he went on the IL earlier in the year with a back injury, and he just got off the IL. He was dealing with a groin injury, but he is back, and he said that he feels 100% now moving forward, and I think that he's a name that the Dodgers could potentially go after. If you look at his contract, he has $10.2 million in 2022, then a $12 million club option in 2023. He also pitches very well at Dodger Stadium. In 20 and 2/3 innings pitched, he has a 2.18 ERA, a .726 WHIP, and he's a name, who knows, maybe the Dodgers want to go crazy, they go with Sonny Gray. Now, a name that you guys asked me about in the offseason a lot was Luis Castillo. Now, he's had an up and down year, but he's got hot of late. He's actually 3-10 on the season, has a 5.14 ERA, that's good for 58 in the league, 80 punch outs, that's good for 51st, a 1.41 WHIP, that's good for 60th. And if you look at his contract, he still has 2 years of arbitration left on his deal. He hits free agency in 2024. He's only making $4.2 million this season. And if you look at his June ERA, he has a 1.71 June ERA with 32 punch outs, 12 walks. And in May, he had an 8.04 ERA. And in April, he had a 6.29 ERA. So he's at 5.14. Now, I think if you're really interested in trading for Luis Castillo and you see him as a used car, it looks really nice, but if you look closely, you might see some dents, might see some scratches, and one of those dents is that K percentage. It's a career low 21.4%, but he's had some pretty solid strikeout games recently. It's 3 in a row, 3-7 strikeout games in a row, and he had 11 punch-out game against the Giants in mid-May. So I do think he still has that swing and miss ability, one of the best changeups in the game, and I like it because it's a win now and win later move. And you know Luis Castillo has been on the Dodgers' radar for quite some time now. The Reds and the Dodgers, they've made some deals in the past. He's a name that I'd strongly consider. Now, the big name that everyone wants to talk about, you guys always ask me about, is Max Scherzer. Now, we're going to talk about Max Scherzer first, his season. He's had a really solid year. He's still pitching like Max Scherzer at age 36. He has a 2.14 ERA, an 8.49 WHIP, 12.1 strikeouts per 9. But the big issue with Max Scherzer is that 10-5 no trade clause. Now, he can basically turn down a deal to any team, and the word on the street is he would only accept a trade for a team that's willing to come with an extension. So would the Dodgers be willing to trade for him and extend him at age 36? I just don't see that happening. I know he's still effective at this age, but unless he's willing to waive that no trade clause for a 1-year rental and then maybe go back to the Nationals and sign a deal with them, then I think that's possible. But if what people are saying is true, that he's only willing to take a trade for a team that's willing to assign him to an extension, I don't see that happening with the Dodgers. And then the other issue with the Nationals is the fact that they're winning. They've won 8 of their last 10 games. They finished 18-9 for the month of June. They're just 2 games back of the New York Mets in the NL East, so they might find themselves in a position where they're adding and not subtracting at the deadline. You got guys like Trey Turner and Juan Soto. That might be a team that could make a run. They always go from the Trashionals to the Cashionals at some point every season, it feels like, so I just don't think that move happens. And then how about Detroit Tigers left-handed pitcher Matthew Boyd? So this is not really one of those game-changing frontline starters, but he's the guy that could really take on that role as the Dodgers' number 4 or 5 starters in the event that Tony Gonsolin doesn't emerge as that guy. Now, so far in the year, he has a 3.44 ERA, a 1.20 WHIP in 13 games, but last season he really strode. He had a 6.71 ERA in 12 starts in 2020, so a much better season for Matthew Boyd and closer to his breakout year in 2019. Now, when it comes to Matthew Boyd, he's not one of these high-velocity missed bats type of pitcher. Now, he was that in 2019 when he had a 30.2 K percentage, but this year it's at 18.8%. That walk rate, though, has gone down from last year. It was at 8.1% down to 6.4%. But what he does have is that fastball, slider, changeup combination. He's got that lefty 3/4 arm slot delivery that when he's effective, when he's on, he knows how to work that pitch mix. And let's say that Julio Urias, who's already thrown 93 in a third innings this year, the most he's ever had in the regular season. We haven't even reached the All-Star break. Let's say he starts to get fatigued and they want to move him to the bullpen, then you could slide him as a lefty into this rotation. So I think it could be a good fit. And if you look at his contract, he's due $6.5 million this year, and he has 1 more year of arbitration left before he hits free agency in 2023. So that's a more realistic name that the Dodgers could go after. Maybe give them 1 or 2 top 100 prospects and get that deal done. And then for the last name in the first part of this series, how about Pirates left-handed pitcher Tyler Anderson? So far this season, not an outstanding year, a 4.75 ERA, a 12.30 WHIP, but he has gone at least 5 innings in each of his starts this season. He's only given up more than 3 runs in 3 of his starts, and he's a guy that can go in there and give you that 5th starter that the Dodgers are looking for if Tony Gonsolin doesn't work out, or if Trevor Bauer, something happens to him and they need to move everyone up a slot. Maybe Tyler Anderson is a guy they can get. He's a free agent next season. He's on a $2.5 million contract this year. They could get him on the cheap. The Pirates, one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, so you've got some frontline possibilities and guys that can give you some depth. And you know Tyler Anderson would love to be on the Dodgers because that means he wouldn't have to face Justin Turner. JT just owns Tyler Anderson. He had 2 bombs off of him in a game in early June. But we'll have part 2 coming in the next few days. But let me know down below in the comments, who do you want to see the Dodgers trade for if they decide to go after a starting pitcher? I want your takes down below in the comment section. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. For all things Dodger baseball, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you want to see even more Dodgers content, smash that like button. For all latest Dodgers Nation merch, head over to gearup.la. For the latest Dodgers news, head over to DodgersNation.com. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.